Hi everyone, welcome to tonight's Facebook and Instagram Live. I'm Christine Daal from Fashion Ninja Warrior, and tonight is episode number 88. We are going to discuss tips for working from home. Since most of us at least, are in a working from home situation, I definitely want to address this and give you guys some great, amazing tips because I've been doing it now for a very long time. So the work from home trend started right here. So give me a hi, wave at me. If you're hopping onto Facebook, please write a comment so that I know you can actually hear me. We are having a lot of Facebook Live issues lately. Facebook has announced that too many people are going live, and so it's kind of messing things up. Hey, Alvatanza, how are you? Jerusa, hi, how are you? Just drop me a comment, guys, on Facebook. I want to make sure I can actually see your comments. Last week, I couldn't see any of the comments, which was not good. Okay, great. Hi, Natasha. I can see your comments. Miriam, hello. Okay, perfect. So the comments are working this week. Great. Awesome. How is everyone doing? I am praying for all of you. I am praying that God would stop this horrible disease dead in its tracks. And I am deeply sorry for anyone who has lost a loved one due to coronavirus. It is horrible. We have personal friends of our family that have passed due to COVID, and it is just terrible. Obviously, I would not wish that on anyone. And for those that are still struggling, still battling against it, I am praying that God would heal you completely. 110%. God is our healer and he can do it. So just lean on him. So tonight I want to talk about tips for working from home. I'm assuming most of you are working from home. I know some people have lost their jobs, unfortunately, due to COVID. Hey, Jack's Odyssey, thank you so much. Hey, Naima, how are you? Nice to see you on. So give me your hearts, give me your thumbs up, guys. I love it. It's like oxygen to me. I also want to bring some of you on live with me tonight. I think it would be fun. So if you've got questions, definitely request to come on live with me, and I will actually add you, and we can do a little Q&A, which would be awesome. We're going to bringing more people on live with us for these Facebook Lives. So definitely request to join. If you don't know how to do it on Instagram, you actually have to hop off the live and hop back on because that little notification pops up as soon as you come on our live video. So you can request to come on live right after you join. And on Facebook, there's a little icon at the bottom that you can actually tap to request to join, okay? Hey, So Chic Petite, how are you? If you are on Instagram, keep in mind this will only be up for 24 hours in our story. Afterwards, you can head on over to our Facebook group, The Fearless Fashionpreneur, where all of these videos live. We have literally over 80 live video trainings. That's over 40 hours worth of free information, guys. It is crazy. So definitely head over to the Facebook group and join the group. So tonight, we're going to discuss how to keep yourself focused and motivated so you can actually prosper working from home. How to make your home look amazing for Zoom calls in less than a minute. I have a little trick for you guys. Some productivity hacks and tricks. How to get rid of those pesky negative and fearful thoughts that I'm sure are creeping into your minds because I know they're creeping into mine. And tips for working from home with kids. I do have a little toddler, so we're going to talk a little bit about that and so much more. So are you guys ready? So in order to prosper at working from home and be the most productive and the most focused, you have to first have a little bit of self-awareness. So for those of you who are brand new to the idea of working from home, you are going to quickly start realizing certain things about yourself that you may or may not have already noticed. So do a little self-check. So number one, are you a paper or a digital type person, right? Most of you probably already know this. Drop it in the chat below, paper or digital, which one do you prefer? I have to say I'm torn between. I am so old school. I love paper. I loved writing. I always was like writing things down because it would actually help my brain remember it more. But I'm slowly transferring to the digital side of things. I now pretty much take all of my notes on a digital notepad on my iPhone, not on my actual piece of paper. I'm also trying to be a little bit more sustainable and eco-friendly and green, so paper is obviously not good for that reason. Hey, Sherman, thank you. Naima says both, but preferably paper. Okay, Jungle Hippie Boutique paper. Hello, yes, hi, Alexandra paper. Okay, so we've got a lot of paper people on here. That's actually shocking. All right, I thought more of you were going to say digital. I'm glad I'm not the only paper person. But I do recommend going digital as much as possible because it is literally the easiest thing to do no matter where you are. As long as you have your phone, your laptop, you are good to go and you're synced. Okay, so number 1, are you a paper or digital person? That's really important that you know. Hopefully by now you already know that about yourself. Number 2, are you a morning person or a late night worker? So my husband is very much a morning person. Shout out to Sherman, who's on watching. I, on the other hand, I am a late night worker. I am such a worker bee. I will be up the whole night till 1 a.m., 2 a.m. doing work. I find that my brain just works more productively that way. I like to be alone in the silence with my thoughts. I am not a morning person. I do not want to wake up before the sun comes up unless it's to exercise or go to the beach. That's literally my only 2 reasons I want to do that. So I'm a late night person. Elvatanza, late night. So Chic Petite, morning. Type it in the comments below. Are you a morning person or late night worker? I'd love to know. So obviously, if you work better at night, try to see if you can shift your hours. Now that you're working from home, maybe your job will be a little bit more flexible with you. It's worth a shot. So ask your supervisor, ask your boss, hey, can I shift my hours? If you're better in working in the morning, can you wake up and work earlier? Can you work at 6 a.m. instead of your normal 9 a.m., right? So just ask your employer, do what works best for you when you can, obviously. Number 3, are you better at working straight through or better at taking small breaks? Me, I power through. I don't need a break. I don't need a break for lunch. I will eat while I work. I'm very good at multitasking. I don't want breaks. I really don't want any breaks. I would rather power through the entire thing and then relax, and that entire time is my relaxation time. Although these days I don't get much relaxation time because I have a toddler running around that I have to take care of. But are you better working straight through or taking breaks? Let me know in the comments. I want to know who's better. Elvatanza, powering through. Me and you, girl, we're on the same page on a lot of things here. Who is better at powering through? Who is better at taking breaks? And obviously, if you're better at taking breaks, please take those breaks. You need it. That's how you work the best. So take a little 15-minute break twice a day. Take a half hour to an hour lunch break, right? Do what works best for you. Hey, Aletha, how are you? Next, are you better working alone or working with a team? So most people will say both to this, but really at the end of the day, you're usually better at one or the other. You usually prefer one or the other. So as much as I do like having a team of people, and I love my team, they're awesome. Shout out to my teammates who are on right now if you girls are on. But I personally would prefer working alone. I'm very fine working by myself, speaking to no one. Yes, occasionally I like to bounce ideas off of people, and that's important, I think, to, not just be in your own head all the time. But for the most part, I enjoy working alone. So who's in the boat with me? You prefer working alone? Who likes to work with a team? Drop it in the comments. I would love to see in the chat. Both, depends on the day or project. Yes. Easier alone, jungle hippie. Yes, Jackie, I agree with you, totally. And then, of course, if you do work better with people and now you are home kind of by yourself or very isolated, try to have check-ins, right? Check-ins with your teammates, check-ins with coworkers, check-ins maybe with your boss. Maybe you can do a Zoom call every, once a day, twice a day or something with your teammates. Maybe you can just check in with your coworkers and say, hey, are you overwhelmed? Can I do something for you? Can I make your day a little bit easier? A lot of people are working from home now and having to take care of their children at the same time. And so if that's the case and you are single and or don't have kids that you have to worry about at home and your life is pretty easy, maybe you can help out one of your coworkers and say, hey, would love to chat with you today. Let me know what's going on, what's on your plate, what can I help you with, right? And you make their day a little bit easier. Elvatanza says both, but alone the majority of the time. Awesome. Doreen, alone. Okay, a lot of people are saying alone. I think it's a very creative thing. Like people who have a creative mind do tend, I find, to work better alone. Naima says alone. Evelyn, also alone. Okay, you guys are all voting for alone. Okay. Next, do you work better in silence or with a lot of noise going on? So some people need that kind of background noise. Some people need to fall asleep with the TV on. Some people need to have the TV or some kind of music playing in the background. Again, I'm a more prefer the silent type. I will play worship music often in the background. That kind of keeps me connected to God at all times, but it's really up to you. So if you need that noise, can you listen to a podcast? Can you listen to some kind of online event? Can you listen to these Facebook Lives in the background while you're doing your work at your job, right? Can you watch your FSI online courses for my Fashion Startup Intensive students, right? So these are things you can actually do, even if it's subconsciously, if you're not really paying attention, but if you have it running in the background while you're doing your work, trust me, a lot more actually sinks into your brain than you really think. So do you want the background noise or do you want the silence? Naima, background noise. So Chic Petite, music or TV, Elbatanza, silence or worship music. Oh yeah, girl, we are on the same page. Depends on the project and my head for the day. Okay. And then last but not least, what you really need to be aware of is what motivates you at the end of the day. We're all driven by these internal motivation factors, whether you have spent any time to think about it or not. And actually, this could be an entire Facebook Live episode in and of itself. So if you guys are interested in this type of stuff, definitely drop it in the comments and we'll do an entire Facebook Live on motivational, areas, or I should say what motivates you as a person. But most people are motivated by one of these things: money, fear, stability or security, fame, impact, promotion, reaching your personal goals, competition, control or power, proving others wrong, and incentives. And it can be more than one of those things for sure, but most people have at least one primary factor that is motivating them to succeed. So it's really important that you understand what is motivating you at the end of the day, because now you don't have a boss, you don't have somebody overlooking you and looking at your work every single day because you're working from home. And so if you don't have somebody breathing down your back telling you what to do or watching you all day long, you don't have coworkers around, nothing, what is going to motivate you to sit in your chair and do the work that you actually need to do? So for instance, if you're motivated by incentives, right? If you're constantly at a job where they're giving you bonuses, if you hit the high sales numbers and these various different things, then you need to make your own incentives for yourself, right? Okay, if I answer 100 emails, if I get to 100 emails this morning, I will give myself a reward, right? And that reward could be a glass of wine. That reward could be, I'm going to watch a Netflix movie tonight. Whatever is a great reward for you. And obviously you'll have to adapt the rewards because we're all in quarantine life right now. I would probably normally say, go get a mani or a pedi, right? As a reward, but obviously you can't do that right now. So keep it to things obviously that you can do right now or that you promise you'll do in the future. So you'll get a mani and pedi in the future, you'll take a vacation in the future, whatever the case may be. So have those small incentives to keep you motivated. And if you need more information on that, go back and watch Facebook Live 50. I put the link on our Facebook group here so that you can go back and watch that episode because we talked all about emotional intelligence and how to not let your emotions take you out. So that was a really good one, guys. So go back and watch episode 50. So now that you're more self-aware with yourself, that didn't sound right. Now that you're more aware of yourself, I should say, how can you actually keep yourself focused and motivated while working from home? I like to say you need to prosper. And we're going to do a little acronym because I love acronyms. And so PROSPER, P-R-O-S-P-E-R, stands for P, prioritize, R, routine or ritual, O, organized, S, space, P, productive, E, energy, and R, rules. So these are the 7 things, the 7 keys that are going to help you to prosper, to stay motivated and focused while you are working from home. Awesome. Evelyn says, proving that I can do it. Yes, that's a great motivating factor. Modern Beauty, Clara, what motivates me is succeeding in this entrepreneurial journey and paying my studio bills. Awesome. I love it. Great motivational factors, guys. So let's talk about these 7 keys. So number 1, prioritize. And someone type prioritize down in the comments, please. Try to have one to-do list, number 1. So I'm a person where if I have something to do, I will write it on any sheet of paper that is closest to me, whether it's a sticky note, my schedule, my calendar, in my phone notes, whatever the case may be. But then I need to come together and consolidate all those to-dos into one to-do list, right? Once you have that one to-do list, you need to prioritize. You can't obviously work on everything at once. And so you need to pick and choose what absolutely needs to be done today is obviously going to be number 1 priority. And then you need to figure out, okay, these are the items that need to be done today. Let's say you had 10 items. 5 of them need to be done today. Then you want to rank those 5 in order of priority, which ones need to be done first, second, third, fourth, fifth, right? And that might depend on a number of things. It might depend on what time they're due if you're handing in stuff to a client. For instance, I have a lot of East Coast clients and a lot of West Coast clients. I work on a lot of the East Coast clients' things early in the morning because it's East Coast time where I am. And then I work on the West Coast stuff at night because it's actually earlier for them. So that's how I prioritize a lot of the things on my to-do list. That might help you as well. It might just be a matter of what you prefer to work on first. Sometimes I do find that if you're dreading doing something, if there's a task on your list that you're dreading doing, definitely do that one first because you will feel so much better once it's actually over. So definitely be sure that you prioritize your list. And then also think about what can you delegate. So out of those 5 things, there might be 1 or 2 that you can actually delegate to a coworker, a team member, someone else. You can hire a freelancer at this time. A lot of people are out of work right now. We're actually hiring a ton of freelancers to try to get some money into people's pockets so that they're not out of work and out of pay during this horrible experience. Yes, Modern Beauty, your new planner has been a lifesaver. Which planner are you using? Awesome. What do you think about an accountability coach? First of all, I think a coach period is an accountability partner. That's what I do for a lot of my clients, is hold them accountable, right? We have meetings. I give you homework assignments. You have to turn in the homework. If you don't turn in the homework, I am getting on your case about it. I will, however, say I will not baby you, so I'm not going to hold your hand. I'm not going to ask you every single day. If you don't turn in your homework repeatedly for numerous sessions, I will cancel our agreement because I'm not here to babysit you. You're a grown adult. You're starting a business. You need to have somewhat of the mindset of responsibility, and I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. But yes, I think getting a coach is perfect. Cloth and paper. Okay, cool. I have never heard of that journal. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Okay, so the next one, that's P, prioritize. R is for routine or ritual. Why? Why do you need a routine or a ritual? Number 1, it breeds habits. And number 2, routines are actually going to save your brain from having to think about what you need to do next. Think about it in the morning. You probably have some kind of routine where you take a shower or you brush your teeth, and you don't really have to think about how you're going to brush your teeth. You don't really have to think about how do I put the toothpaste on the toothbrush, and am I going to brush my back teeth first or my top teeth first or my front teeth first? Like, you've now developed a routine where you don't even need to think about this, which is why a lot of people, when they are brushing their teeth or taking a shower, they're actually very productive because they're thinking about other things that they do need to think about, because that now has become so routine. So you want to do the same thing with other areas of your life as much as possible, especially with work-related tasks, because real estate in your mind is very expensive and you don't want to waste it. So this is going to help keep you focused, help you stay organized, and help things become very normal part of your routine to free up other space for other things. So you probably already have some kind of morning routine. Maybe you get coffee, maybe you do exercise in the morning, maybe you pray, whatever that morning routine is. Obviously you're going to, for the most part, keep it. You obviously probably already have an evening routine. I do recommend planning your next day as part of your evening routine. I refuse to go to bed at night before I have planned my next day. So definitely make that part of your evening routine. I also recommend, in general, waking up and going to bed at the same time every day. This is definitely going to help your body set itself and get into a routine of sleep, and it's going to make your sleep much more productive. But then now you also need to have a work routine, and your work routine might have changed drastically because now you are working from home. So whereas you may have commuted in the morning on the train, on the subway, or by car, you're now commuting from maybe your bedroom to your living room or your bedroom to your office, right? Because you're now working from home. So I still recommend getting ready in the morning. I know a lot of people, as soon as they work from home, they're like, I'm going to work in my PJs, I'm going to work in sweats, I'm going to keep my t-shirt on, I'm going to work in my underwear, whatever the case may be. Some people only put a shirt on because they have Zoom meetings and stuff and they're not wearing anything on the bottom, whatever. I do not recommend that. And it is a psychological thing. But you're getting your body ready and your mind ready to say, now is the time I go to work. And then at the end of your day, if you want to change into more comfier clothing or something like that, then you're telling your mind, okay, I am now done with work and it's time to relax, right? So these are all very psychological things. So yes, while it's convenient for all of us to work in our t-shirts and jeans and sweatpants all day long, it's not really good psychologically for you and not the most productive for you to get work done. So I recommend still getting ready in the morning. Whether or not you want to put makeup on, that's up to you. I don't wear this much makeup unless I'm doing a Facebook Live. Otherwise, I wear very minimal makeup or literally no makeup. But I do recommend you get dressed, you take a shower, you brush your teeth, you actually get ready, put clothes on. You know, maybe instead of your morning commute, now you take a walk around the block, get some fresh air, go outside for a minute, get some sunshine, right? That might be your new morning routine. Maybe you're like me and you need to get your coffee and your water bottle and put some worship music on before you start your work. That's how I am in the morning. I make sure on my desk I have a full cup of coffee, I've got a full water bottle, and I've got my worship music ready to go. Maybe you start by looking at the weather, then maybe you look at your calendar, then maybe you check your email. Like whatever system you have, just create a system that works for you, right? For me, it's weather, calendar, email typically. And I always have my open planner, which I handwrite literally everything. I don't have it right now with me, so otherwise I would show you, but I always have my open planner. And then I have my physical calendar on my computer, and then I check the weather and I check my email. So I kind of do it in that order. It doesn't matter the order that you go, as long as you keep it consistent and always do the same thing every single day. Jack's Odyssey does the same thing, but no makeup. Okay. Evelyn, I'm a night worker, but I'm changing to days. Okay, so keep in mind, Evelyn, if you are a night worker, you know, see how you're reacting. If you're still as focused in the day, like sometimes, guys, I am so not focused in the day. Like today, I had a really rough day. My son, Noah, kept us up late last night. He usually doesn't wake up in the middle of the night, but he did wake up, and it took us forever to get him to go back to sleep. And so my sleep is all jacked up today, and my morning was way jacked up. So I'm just way better and more productive at night. So know yourself, know how you work best. Okay, so the next one, number 3, the O stands for organized. Someone type in organized into the comments below. So you want to keep your work area especially tidy. So for me, I can't focus unless my area is organized. And it doesn't have to be super pristine. Like for me, like there's a method to the madness, right? So I can have something be like messy organized. And some people don't understand that, but it just matters what is good for you. And again, what works for you, right? If you need to have all papers put away and everything filed and your desk needs to be like completely clear and open, then do that. If you're okay with having things on your desk, but just having them neatly piled up or in a neat area or something like that, then do that. Do what works for you. But for me, I need to have some stuff super organized. I do like to have stuff out because I like to see it visually because it helps remind me that I need to do it and I need to work on it. But if you're the opposite, if that causes too much chaos for you and you need to put stuff away, then put it away. Put it in drawers, put it in cabinets so that it's like out of sight, out of mind, and now your mind can be open to doing the things that you really need to get done for the day. Next is the S, which is space. Someone type space down in the comments below. You need to have a designated set space to do your work. Now, I understand that in the New York City, New Jersey, Northeast area, this can be very, very difficult because most people live in a very tiny apartment. Might be one bedroom, might be a studio. You don't necessarily have an entire office space to work out of. And so whatever the case may be, if you don't have a separate office or if you're now having to share an office, I do have an office, although over the past 2 years, it has been slowly taken over by my son, who sleeps at night in his crib right here. And now my husband's working from home, and he's working now on the other side of the office. And so me and my assistant got kind of kicked out of the office, and now my assistant is working from home, and I'm still working from here and having to take care of my son, Noah. So it is a very different situation for us, but normally I'm working here in my office. I have a very specific desk that I work at, and that's where I do my work. I recommend having a desk. If you don't have your own office, just have a desk in your bedroom, have a desk in the living room, in the kitchen. You can even get those like pop-up desks where like it folds down. If you're running out of space, it folds down during the day when you're not using it, and then you pop it up, you put your laptop on it, you bring a chair over from the kitchen table, right? And that now becomes your desk. Maybe you have a bar area that you can work from, right? Something like that. I also, if you have an outdoor space and it's nice weather-wise, work outside, get some fresh air. It can be difficult to be all cooped up inside, but definitely don't do things like working from your bed or working from the couch. Working from your bed is the worst because your brain is going to get confused. Okay, is it work time or is it sleep time? That's why I don't recommend eating in your bed. That's why I don't recommend watching TV in your bed. Like, everything needs to have a separate set space so that your brain doesn't get confused. What am I supposed to be doing right now, right? So it's all subconscious stuff. And I do recommend sometimes it is good to have 2 areas to work from. You might have one area that's like your thinking area or your creative area, right? Maybe the outdoor space is where you get all of your creativity. It's good for writing. It's good for blogging, right? It's good for designing purposes. And then you have another area that's good for like writing emails and getting computer stuff done or something like that, right? So it is good sometimes to have 2 areas, but definitely do not make one of those 2 areas your bed, okay? Number 5, productive. P stands for productive. Someone type productive down in the comments below. So especially now that you're all working from home, your employer is not overlooking your shoulder and, you know, breathing down your neck and on top of you all day long. And so they're not going to be able to keep track of your hours in any way, shape, or form, really, unless you're somehow digitally clocking in. But basically, they're going to be looking for the results. And even if you work for yourself and you have your own business and you're working from home now, you need to focus on the results too. I have days sometimes where I feel like I worked 16-hour days and I got nothing done. That is a horrible, horrible feeling. I don't want any of you to go through that. And so I'm going to give you some really good productive tips right now so that you don't feel that way and you do feel like you're getting actual results in. And also go back and watch Facebook Live episode 14. We talked about how to set SMART goals. And inside there, I talked about this idea of doing easier things first versus the harder things, and then also vice versa. So we talked about this briefly in the beginning. But sometimes on your to-do list, you'll have something that you're totally dreading. You know, maybe it's making a phone call to customer service, and you're like, oh, I'm going to be on hold for 2 hours. I don't want to deal with this. Whatever the case may be, sometimes it's better to do the harder things first, get them off your list so that your brain can be like, oh, now I have only easy things left to do. Or vice versa, sometimes it's better to do the easier things first, the things that will take only 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, rather than the things that are going to take you 2 hours to do, because you can quickly check them off your list. And if you are motivated, again, it goes back to having that self-awareness. If you are motivated by having things checked off your list, you will work more productive by getting those smaller tasks done first. So test it out, see which works best for you. I literally go back and forth between the 2. It just kind of depends on what mood I'm in. Also, act like every task is a race. Have you ever noticed that when you're about to go on vacation, you magically get so much done before you actually go on vacation? It's because your brain is hardwired now to think, oh my gosh, I'm running out of time. I have to take care of all these things before I leave so that while I'm gone, I don't have to worry about any of it. And the whole business can run and everything can be smooth while I'm away and no one has to bother me. Literally, I would get so much done before I would go on vacation that I'd be like, why can't I get this much done every single day? And it's because I wasn't acting like it was a race. I wasn't putting the emphasis or the urgency on doing all of the tasks. So create the urgency. No one's going on vacation, but you can act like it. You can literally force your brain to act like it. The opposite of procrastination is anticipation. So anticipate that you have no time, that someone is robbing you of your time, that today is the very last day and you have to get everything done today because tomorrow does not exist. Like, literally have that mindset and you will be super, super productive. I also recommend setting timers on your phone. So I constantly set timers for things. 1, because I want to know how long it actually takes me to do certain tasks. And 2, because it will help me create that urgency and create that race mode, right? So if I'm going to do a task and I'm like, okay, I think this is going to take me an hour, but let me set a timer for half an hour and see if I can get it done in half an hour. I will set the timer for half an hour, and sure enough, I will finish right on the timer or like 5 minutes after the timer. And I'll be like, wow, I only took like 35 minutes to get that task done, and I thought it was going to take me like an hour. So you'd be shocked at the things that you're dreading doing, how short of a period of time it actually takes you versus what you're telling yourself in your brain, how long it's going to take to do that thing that you're dreading to do. And then you're also going to be surprised how long certain things take that you think are actually taking a shorter period of time. So set timers on your phones. Take 10-minute small breaks for very small tasks. So let's say you're working, and then you notice now your desk is super cluttered and you're like, oh crap, I need to organize this because I can't think straight. Take 10 minutes, set a timer on your phone. 10 minutes, I'm gonna organize my desk as much as possible. After the 10 minutes, I'm gonna stop. And literally it's a race. How fast can you organize things? And hey, look, if you don't get it super organized or as organized as you would like it to be by the end of that 10-minute timer, don't stress, go back to what you were doing and then set another 10-minute timer later and come back to it, okay? And trust me, again, you will get done so much more this way than you ever thought possible. Another great tip is to batch-like projects. So for instance, if you're doing social media posts on Instagram, right? Right now we're doing our Instagram challenge, 20 for 20 challenge, 20 minutes of Instagram engagement for 20 days. Today's day 7, so I highly recommend everyone join us in our challenge. It's fun. We literally had somebody go from like an 8% engagement rate to 14% engagement in 20 days. We did this in the beginning of the year and it was awesome. So definitely join our challenge. But let's say you're doing your Instagram captions. Batch them all together. I don't do a caption every single day. I spend a couple of hours at the beginning of the month in doing all my captions. It is way better, way more effective use of time, and way more productive to focus on one task for a longer period of time than to focus on smaller tasks for shorter periods of time. So batch your projects together. It will maximize your concentration and decrease your distraction. And speaking of distraction, did you know that once you are distracted, it can take on average 23 minutes for your brain to come back to the original task that you were doing before you were distracted. So this is why it's really important that you're not distracted, that you're not interrupted, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this later. Another great task is to batch your emails. So a lot of you, and I know you do it, are always on your email. You get email notifications on your phone, you get email notifications on your computer, and every time you hear that little ping, you look at it and you're like, crap, I have to go respond. Then 5 minutes later, oh, I got another email, I gotta go respond. You are constantly training your brain and interrupting your brain of what you're actually currently doing to go and check your email. Please do not do this. Commit to checking your email 4 times a day. In the morning, when you first wake up, or when you first start your day, at your lunchtime, lunch break, around 4 or 5 p.m., 6 p.m., end of the workday, right before the end of the workday, and then once at night before you go to bed, or if you're working at night, 9 to 10 p.m., something like that. 4 times a day. I want everyone to commit, agree in the comments. I want to hear from you that you are going to commit to checking your email 4 times a day and watch your productivity and focus soar through the sky. And then a couple of other productivity hacks for you, or little tricks and tips. OneTab, if you've never heard of it, literally spelled out OneTab, 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 is going to be your new best friend. It is one of my favorite it is a Google Chrome extension. If you don't use Google Chrome, you need to as your browser. It is a Google Chrome extension that will allow you to have a bunch of tabs open at the top of your website, at the top of your online site, right? Window, and then you can condense them all down into one tab and save it for later. So it's kind of like bookmarks, but better. And if you have a lot of clients or you have a lot of different projects going on, and let's say you're always opening up certain tabs for certain projects, you can have certain tabs open for one project, close it into one tab, and then rename it with the project name. And then you can always restore those set of tabs again at any time. Literally, this is like a game changer for me. If you are constantly having like 20 tabs open at a time and you're wondering why your internet is slow and you can't do anything, if you're like me, you need OneTab. So I highly recommend OneTab. I also highly recommend Notes on your phone. If you have an iPhone, sync it to your Mac. And if you type notes on your iPhone, it will sync to your Mac. If you type notes on your Mac, it will sync back to your iPhone. Use some kind of cloud sharing platform. And then last but not least, AirPods. If you do not have AirPods, you need to get them. It is literally a game changer. It has changed my entire life getting the AirPods. It is just good for be on a Zoom call in my office, go run to the kitchen to get food, still listening to everything that they're saying on the Zoom call, and come back and get whatever I came to get. So it's amazing. It's awesome. It's definitely a game changer. And if you have somebody at home that likes to watch TV all the time and you're trying to get work done all the time, like I am, have that person get wireless TV headsets. It's also another game changer. Okay? All right, moving right along. We're running out of time. E stands for energy. So in order to be really focused, in order to be really productive, you need to have a lot of energy. So exercise. If you're not into exercising, stretch, go for a walk, do an at-home workout video. There's tons of stuff on YouTube. A lot of companies right now are offering a free month of their at-home workout program because of the whole COVID-19 thing going on. So do some sort of exercise, moving around, even if it's just standing up. I actually have a desk that you can raise and lower depending on if you want to stand or sit. Even just standing up and working is 20 times better than sitting and working all day straight. So stand up. If you're into essential oils, get some essential oils. I literally have the Young Living Energy Essential Oil. I put this behind my ears and it gives me tons of energy. Peppermint's also a really good essential oil for energy. So if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I want to take a nap, it's in the afternoon, my boss is not here, I technically could slide one in, don't do it, number one. Number two, get some peppermint oil. It'll perk you up and get you excited. Drink a glass of water, go for a walk, and then come back to your desk, right? And then beware of the idle snacking. I made a little meme the other day that COVID-19, they got that word because we're all going to gain 19 pounds from this whole thing. Kind of like the freshman 15, if you've ever heard that saying. But no joke, people are gaining weight because we're now all at home and we're surrounded by food and we're eating all the time, right? So kind of cut the idle snacking down. Again, stock up on really healthy stuff if you can. If you are going to the grocery store, I know some people are avoiding the grocery store at all costs right now. So if you are going to the grocery store, get some fresh veggies, wash them really good, and cut up some cucumber, cut up some celery, peanut butter. Just get some really healthy snacks. Meal prep on the weekend so that you don't have to think about what you're going to eat during the week and you already know you're going to go and grab it. I love salad kits. I'm a big salad person. And I don't have a lot of time to sit there and cut up vegetables and make my salad. So I literally buy salad kits. It includes everything in the kit. You pour it in a bowl, dressing, everything's in there. Sometimes I add croutons. Sometimes I add shredded carrots or something, right? And it's really super easy meal that's also healthy. And then upbeat music. If you feel like you're starting to get low on energy, play some upbeat music, dance around your apartment for a little bit, right? Get that energy, get that mojo going. Yes, essential oils are so good, Jack's Odyssey. And number 7, last but not least, R stands for rules. Someone type rules down in the comments below. So you need to have rules, both for you and for others in order to be successful and profitable and prosperous while you're working at home. So for you, set specific work hours. So sometimes, you're working from home now. People don't know what hours you're working, right? You can't technically clock in. There's no boss over your shoulder looking at things, right? So set specific work hours for yourself. I'm going to work from 9 to 5 every day. I'm going to work from 10 to 7 every day. Whatever those hours are, commit to it and stick to it. And then don't quit. Don't stop working if you're having a tough day. So if you have a horrible email that comes in from somebody, customers, are complaining, maybe you just don't feel productive, you hit a wall, you can't think of something you're supposed to be writing or getting creative for, just commit to not quitting. I once took a hot yoga class, which I miss so desperately right now. But in the hot yoga class, they literally said in the beginning class, do not leave the room. Whatever you do, do not leave the room. And they say that for a number of reasons. One, it's super, super hot in there, and people do get lightheaded, and they tend to walk out of the room because it is so hot inside. They tend to leave and walk out and go outside because it's cooler, right? But number 2, and most importantly, it is a psychological thing. And you guys have heard me say this a number of times today. It is a psychological thing. Once you walk out the room, you're done. You are not walking back in the room and continuing. So instead, they want you to stay in the room. If you have to, sit down, lay down on the floor, right? Hot air rises, so you want to drop down as low as possible on the ground. Drink some water, come back, and see what you can do, right? And maybe you don't do anything. Maybe you just sit there in child's pose the entire rest of the hot yoga class, but you didn't quit because you didn't walk out of the room. So promise yourself that you will not quit. If you come up with an obstacle or something happens or you have a horrible customer service person screaming and yelling in your face, don't quit for the day. Commit to working those set hours. And then don't treat your spouse like your coworker. So for me, when I first started working from home, which was many, many years ago, I missed having someone to talk to. I literally had no one to talk to. I was here in my home by myself, no one around me, no assistants, no team, no interns, nothing. And my husband would come home from work and I'd blabber at him like all the things that happened for the day. And he's like, whoa, chill out. I just got home. I need time to decompress. I just had a long day at my job. And so sometimes your spouse, your roommate, right? Don't treat them like a coworker, right? If you had to talk about it with them, ask them first. Hey, can I vent to you for a minute? Can I tell you about this horrible email and how it made me feel? I really need somebody to listen to me, right? Ask them for their permission first before you just blab it out to them, because they may or may not be interested in hearing about your horrible, insulting email that you got for the day. So don't treat your spouse or your roommate like your coworker. And then rules for others, and this is very important. Set ground rules for the people that are in your home that you now have to work from so that you don't have those interruptions and you're not thrown off your focus. So things like knock before you come in. If you're working from your bedroom or you're working from your office, whatever the case may be, living room, knock before you come in. I constantly tell people, especially my husband, knock before you come in. I might be on a meeting. I might be on a Zoom call, whatever the case may be. Just please knock before you come in. Try not to interrupt me unless it's an emergency, you know. So my husband has a tendency to come over and bother me and ask me for things. And it's really cute and I love him and he's wonderful and he's super, super sweet. But sometimes I just need, again, to power through. I want to get through everything I need to do and then I will spend my time with you at the end of the night, right? So definitely make sure that you're setting those ground rules for the other people that live and work with you. So now, what do you do if you have kids? So I'm going to take 2 seconds to talk about this real fast. A lot of you are working from home with kids. If you are, say amen, or maybe you want to say, yes, I'm crazy right now because I have no time and my kids are all over the place. I know for me, it's gotten really crazy because my nanny is no longer coming due to COVID and the isolation and everything. So I'm now having to watch my toddler, who's 19 months old, and work on my business full time, which is definitely crazy. But some things to keep in mind that will help you. And of course, this does depend on the age of your child and where they're at, but hopefully some of these tips will help. So yes, Naima said all over the place. Yeah, moms are just literally going crazy right now. Like, shout out to all the moms because you are the rock stars right now. So you need to plan things for education and entertainment, right? Maybe they are now doing their classes online, which is great. But of course, you want to make sure that they're actually watching the classes and doing their homework and all of that stuff. So stock up on books, stock up on puzzles, stock up on things that they can do besides just putting them in front of the TV or putting them in front of an iPad. See if there's any virtual events that they can attend. Our church, which is City Light NYC, is actually doing 2 weekly City Kids events for kids that are ages 3 and up. It's really, really awesome. Even though my son's only 19 months, he actually attended last week and he loved it. I mean, he couldn't really do what they were doing. They were like drawing a rainbow and things like that. He couldn't even do it, but he loved it. He sat there and was so involved and loved seeing all the other kids and loved seeing the instructor. And it was just so good for me to have a break for half an hour to have him in front of the Zoom call with other kids. So that was really awesome. Talk to your spouse if you live with your spouse and you're both doing the work from home thing together. Can you stagger your schedules? Maybe your spouse has to work 9 to 5. Maybe you work 12 to 8 or something, right? So that there's a little bit of overlap there and you can each help out with the child. And then last but not least, if you are working from home and you're doing a ton of Zoom calls and you don't want all of your crazy background messy home and or crazy kid situation going on in the background, download a virtual background. There's literally a great website. It's called getship.co. Getship, GETSHIP.co. It's actually, funny enough, an online dating site for virtual dating. I kid you not. You don't have to join to get the virtual backgrounds. You just scroll down the page, find the virtual background that you like, right click it, save it to your computer, upload it to Zoom, and now you have a beautiful background to use for your Zoom calls. And then last but not least, if you are finding yourself at this time really overrun by negative thoughts, fearful thoughts, if you've been watching the news and it's really starting to get to you, I know a lot of people are dealing with anxiety and fear, and it's a real thing. Like, this is a serious thing that we are going through. This is probably one of the greatest trials we will ever face in our lifetime. Like, something like this has not happened in over 100 years, if you really think about it. And so it's scary. A lot of people are scared, and that's a real thing. So first, acknowledge that. And then second, to get rid of those negative thoughts, the easiest way is to have gratitude. Just think about something that you're grateful for. Be grateful that you have a job and that you can work from home and not in some cubicle. Be grateful that everyone in your family is safe, that you're healthy, that no one has, hopefully, thank God, no one has the virus, and it will continue to stay that way. Just keep your attitude in check, because the more you can focus on gratitude and the more you can focus on the things that you're grateful for, it will diminish all the negative and fearful thoughts. And if you want more tips and advice for overcoming fear, go back and watch Facebook Live episode 9. We talked all about how to get rid of the fear, bring in the faith, and really be able to move forward, because fear will paralyze you and you definitely won't be able to be productive if you're fearful all the time. So type in right now into the comments 3 things you are grateful for. And these can be small things, guys. It doesn't have to be my kids, my family, my health. Like, it can be small things. Like, I'm grateful for watermelon. I'm grateful for my husband found Charmin at the store the other day, literally the last pack of Charmin toilet paper, okay? So like, whatever you're grateful for, type it in the comments below. I want us all to be super grateful, super positive, and really acknowledge all the awesome things that are coming out of this. So type it in the comments now. I love you guys. Stay tuned next week. We are going to do another Facebook Live. Probably the topic will be why you don't need a manufacturer. We did a poll inside our Fearless Fashionpreneur Facebook group, and you guys said you wanted to hear that topic, so we will probably do that topic next week. If you want other topics, if you want to talk about COVID related things, guys, let me know what you want to hear about right now. I want to do the topics that are most pertinent and most, make sense for what's going on in your life. So definitely let me know what topics you want to hear. I've even thought about, do you guys want to hear from my husband? He does finance. So if anyone's curious about the stock market and what this means for our economy and how do we get out of this and what does this mean for retail and all of that sort of stuff, I'm happy to bring my husband on the call with me. He can do a Facebook Live if you guys want to hear from my hubby. Yes, grateful for health, family, and friends. I love it. You miss my cookies. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I haven't made Grandma Rosie's cookies in so long. My health, my husband, making masks. Awesome. I love reading all the things that you guys are so thankful for. Yes, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be doing these with you guys. We could also do case studies again. I know you guys loved the case studies we were doing a few months ago for our Facebook Lives. We could also do the motivation stuff if you want to know more about those areas of what motivates you as a person, as an employee, as a spouse, that sort of thing. We can talk about that. And then also something else super exciting coming up. We're going to be doing some new virtual events because no real in-person events are happening right now. So we're going to send out an email. Make sure you're on our email list. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you want. If you want free events, if you want paid events, we're going to need your vote because that's going to be what we end up doing. So please make sure that you check your email box and vote for your favorite virtual events. Awesome. I love you guys. And don't forget to join our 20 for 20 challenge. Literally 20 minutes of proactive engagement per day for 20 days. Today is day 7. It is not too late to join in. Literally, we had an account go from 8% engagement rate to 14% engagement rate in only 20 days. Guys, that's sick. Like, most top influencers don't have a 14% engagement rate. Like, it's crazy. So if you're looking for more engagement on your page, if you're looking for sales to come out of your Instagram account, this challenge is for you. Head on over to our Fearless Fashionpreneur Facebook group. We'll give you all the tips in there. We'll cheer you on, post your comments, let us know what's going on. And if you have no idea what we're talking about as far as engagement goes or how to even gauge your engagement rate and all of that stuff, we teach it inside our Instagram Intelligent class. So definitely make sure that you check that out. It is fashioningtowear.com/Instagram. All right, guys, I love you. Next time, you join the challenge inside our Fearless Fashionpreneur Facebook group, Aletha, but the challenge is actually an Instagram challenge. So it's something that you're gonna do on your Instagram page, and then you're gonna come over to our Fearless Fashionpreneur group to report your results. You're getting new followers, people are commenting back, all of that stuff. Awesome, I love you guys. Stay safe, everyone. I am praying for you. God is still good, God is on the throne. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. And while this may seem like the greatest trial we will ever go through, God can still use it for good, and he can still use it to bring about the greatest revival we have ever seen. So I love you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless. Bye.